You say you'll change the Constitution. We'd all love to change your head. You tell me it's the institution. You better free your mind instead. But if you go carrying pictures of Chairman Mao, you ain't going to make it with anyone, anyhow.
I'm glad that you guys have found a hobby. The older we are, the greater we were. But I really don't have time for some kind of a reunion concert.
The guys are very enthusiastic. Everyone's on board.
And that's great, but I'm not your guy, not anymore. Carrie, see if you can squeeze in a lunch with Widlowski here and Ladislav. I wanna...
He got another call and touched the side of his Bluetooth.
Go ahead. Uh-huh. No. No? Yeah. Listen, you wouldn't believe who just came into my office.
Carrie, you know what? Make it a dinner for 6. On Jean's dime, of course. Day after tomorrow.
Carrie glanced at Jean, who grudgingly nodded, only half listening.
Anything else?
Ladislav pulled out his wallet and riffled through it for a few small bills.
Yeah, almost forgot. I'd like to invest in a shipment of sand to the Sahara Desert.
The office door opened, revealing Margaret, Jean's trophy wife. She looked unhappy and a bit tipsy.
Can I help you, madam?
No, I'm fine. We're always fine. Everything's fine. Can't you see how fine we are?
Oh, hi, ma'am. We're friends of Jean's. I'm Widlowski, and this is...
My husband ignores me. Lives early, comes late, works every other weekend at his little apartment. Yeah, I know about it.
Margaret fished an open envelope out of her purse and slammed it on Jean's desk.
Idiot. Still sends the goddamn bill home.
Widlowski glanced at it. It's got an address.
Oh, a shark dies if it stops swimming, Margaret. Can you believe he actually said that to me? Like he's a machine, some master of the universe. Work all day, get his rocks off, and back to work. Oh, my friends, all married men. Why did I have to marry an ATM?
Margaret spun around and collapsed into a chair. Widlowski headed back for the door. Ladislav walked toward Margaret.
Oh, you're Ladislav, right? I could use Ladislav.
Widlowski doubled back, grabbed Ladislav's hand, and pulled him towards the door. Widlowski turned back to Margaret.
I hear couples therapy works wonders.
Jean sighed in exasperation while Carrie formed a polite smile in reply and slipped back out of Jean's office to her desk. Jean waved goodbye tersely, though he managed to offer Widlowski a friendly pat on the back before he pretended to focus his attention back into his phone call away from his wife. Widlowski ushered Ladislav out into the lobby and led him to the elevator, which they rode down in relative silence. A large sticker on the inside of the elevator door said, "Do not touch." Widlowski briefly but pointedly touched it and looked around in mock surprise that nothing happened.
And who's the rebel now? Better wait too late than never ever.
They walked out of the elevator.
I guess the air selling business is booming. Maybe too much, if you get my drift.
I thought you were against communists. Now you hold a grudge against capitalists?
Nobody said he's not a tough nut to crack, but we'll get there.
Ladislav, I'll see you later.
Why? No. You promised.
What did I promise?
This is a bad idea.
You, Ladislav, condemning rash, reckless behavior? Ha ha!
Why was I happy to see you again?
For the second time in as many days, Woodlowski found himself on the street corner opposite Beata's house. He watched it for several long minutes. Minutes stretched on and on, seemingly unending. Woodlowski still wasn't certain that he had made the right decision. Still, he couldn't make up his mind. He was just about to leave when the front door opened, and then he quickly ducked behind a hedge. Haritonov strode out of the house, each step a strut that declared his victory. He walked towards his car and climbed in, closing the door as quickly as he had closed the front door. Within an instant, Haritonov pulled out of the driveway and peeled off. To where? Woodlowski didn't know or care. The only thing that mattered right now was the simple fact that Haritonov was gone. So, Woodlowski stood up, even though his legs wanted to shake so badly that they would send him toppling down. He stood up and walked across the street as an idea began to form. Before he could convince himself not to, he walked up the front steps of the porch, strode across it, and pressed his hand against the doorbell. It rang, loud and clear, rooting him to the ground so he couldn't run off and evade this any longer. He took a moment and simply breathed, deep, necessary breaths that he hoped would calm and soothe him. He closed his eyes, realizing quickly that he would never be able to do them with his eyes opened. Not if she were looking at him. As the door opened, he parted his lips and began to sing even before it was open all the way.
Many times I've been alone, and many times I've cried. Anyway, you'll never know the many ways I've tried, and still they lead me back to the long winding road. I left you standing there a long, long time ago. Don't leave me waiting here. Lead me to your door.